From Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 2231, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, August 12th, 2020. As mentioned last week on Ham Nation, Newsline has lost one of its own.
Bobby Best, WX4ALA, who was the backbone of our weather and storm coverage for years, has become a silent key. He died in his sleep on Sunday, August 2nd, at the age of 49. In addition to his contributions as Newsline's staff meteorologist, Bobby enjoyed a 3-decade-long career as a professional broadcaster in his home state of Alabama. He became part of the Newsline family in 2015 as a reporter and quickly carved out a niche for himself with his specialty as a storm chaser. His ham radio career found him active in both Skywarn and Aries as he pursued his passion to report weather under challenging circumstances. His call sign WX4ALA stood for Weather for Alabama and reflected his responsibility to his calling. We here at Newsline will miss Bobby's enthusiasm, his talents, and most of all, his friendship. Rest in peace, friend.
The historic flight by 2 U.S. astronauts, one of them a radio amateur, has come to an end.
2 months ago, they made history, and on Sunday, August 2nd, they made a splash. NASA's Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken KE-5GGX, the first astronauts to fly a SpaceX Dragon commercial spacecraft, returned to Earth from the International Space Station, finishing their mission with a splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico off Pensacola on the coast of Florida. The mission will be remembered for its notable firsts. The splashdown, the first for a manned capsule after a break of 45 years, also marked the first use of the Gulf as a landing site for a U.S. space crew. Bob and Doug had already achieved notoriety for being the first crew on a privately owned commercial spaceflight. The May 30th launch from Kennedy Space Center was also the first for American astronauts since the shuttle's retirement in 2011. There is still one more first yet to happen, and this one is a family first. Bob's astronaut wife, Megan MacArthur, has been chosen to be the pilot of the same SpaceX Dragon next spring. 3 amateur radio operators will be on board with her. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Skeeter Nash, N5ASH.
Things might change very soon for the way small satellites are launched.
Creators of small satellites such as CubeSats and other amateur radio satellites have their eyes on the latest iteration of a small suborbital spaceplane known as the Dawn Mark II Aurora. It is the vision of Dawn Aerospace, which operates in the Netherlands and New Zealand. Dawn describes the plane as a potential game-changer for the smallest of the small satellites and touts its ability to carry payloads between 110 and 220 pounds all the way to orbit. Smaller than a compact car, it can make several flights a day using conventional airport runways anywhere in the world, eliminating the need for vertical launches. According to the Dawn Aerospace website, the plane's first launch is to take place from the South Island of New Zealand, and it will fly to an altitude of more than 100 kilometres or 62 miles. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, Skeeter Nash, N5ASH, Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.